Well, this is a picture of most of our ground crew guys and air crew, but some of them were flying and when this was taken. But this is one of our squadron, one of our aircraft, and as a matter of fact, I pointed out where I happened to be, and see how few clothes we were. We were just called in to make a picture one day. And these are some of the officers in charge, and these three of these fellows bailed out one night. They just didn't know they were going to get them back, but they got them back the next day. This is the kind of aircraft we flew, and Dakotas, DC-3s, flew with the door out. Not in this case, but. And that's a picture of us parachuting. We parachuted food or ammunition if we couldn't land, or if we could land, and we unloaded the stuff just like anybody. We all pitched in. And this is where we first got into Burma. This is our first week we got there, and we landed in there, and there was no people to unload our planes or do anything. So the photograph here of us starting to assemble everything out of the aircraft and get ready to fix. That happens to be a picture of me right there. And we ended up building, fixing up tents, and spent about 3 or 4 days doing that before we were able to do any flying. And this is one of the jobs I had as a kicker. You flew with the door out, you had a rope tied around on a static line down the center of the plane, and you were attached to it, and you had the door out. That's not a very good picture of the door at the moment. You can see the supplies below, and you kick the stuff out. Well, if you didn't go with it. This is interesting. It gives us an idea. And these first week we were there, the commanding officer and 3 of his men got lost, and they had to bail out. And the CO was the last to bail out. This is him in the center, and this is the guys that they all landed in the river. They found one another in the next day, and the the head general was down to present them, to welcome them and look after them. And the commanding officer of the airfield was right there. And one of the things we had we didn't have very good facilities for washing and everything, so we usually ended up by a river or something, and this is a picture of our guys swimming in a chong, we call it a chong, on the Akyab Island. And you can see how well we were dressed. And this is over Mandalay, the road to Mandalay, as we called it in those days. Anyway, this is our big supply drop over there, and these are the Army below, and some of our guys are, if we could fly, we dropped this stuff, and then we ended up having our pictures taken, some of us. I wasn't in on that drop. This is a Japanese flag that one of the guys got a hold of. My buddy Johnny Cleves died, no longer alive, but he and I were great buddies, and we found a Japanese flag. So, and you can see the tents in the background. That's how we lived. This is some of the officers. You had to dig a slit trench beside your tents as well. So this is watching out to see what's going to happen. This is one of the airfields. We were at second airfield. We were in Ramree Island. You can see all the water in the runways. We were in the middle of the monsoons in those days. So. And one of the guys was quite a cartoonist, so he showed us with the aircraft and with a boat or a plane we had to call Watchbird, and it used to go out every morning early, check the weather conditions. This is Just a cartoon they made of one of the watchbirds. And then our entertainment was terrible. We never had any movies at all, or very seldom. So the guys decided to have a group. They were all dressed up as ladies and everything else, and it was called Monsoon Follies. And this is a picture of some of the fellas. They're all dressed as women. Great life in those days.
Do you remember?
And we had a big victory loan day, and we collected $130,000 in those days. So, we were being paid. Nobody had the use of money. We know where to spend it. So you can see our tents in the background, and that's a picture or a thing we put up to show what we'd won. And this is on VJ Day when we heard the war was over. You can see we're in the church, one of the small churches they had there. We always had a church of different religions. And this is when we heard the war was over, they had a nice service after, which I'm in there somewhere. I guess that's it.